Hey, Ellen, thanks for getting this in. So yeah, it looks like you were having some light meter trouble. Where's your other, hold on, there should be like a whole nother, oh, that must have been somebody else. I thought that there was like a whole nother set of images in your PDF that aren't here. So what you have here first is the recommended settings, and then the second ones are what you actually ended up shooting at. It looks like for this sheet they're all the same. The recommended and what you shoot it at's the same. Same here. I don't see any difference. Yeah, I don't see any difference between these shots. And then you said you were bracketing because you weren't convinced by your meter readings. And here's your first, here's your first shot. You have one light coming from camera left, so you have one key light and no fill coming, and the key light is on camera left, and it's undiffused. It's a hard light. And then your second shot, you've got a diffuser. Still camera left, no fill, but you've got a diffuser on. But these do seem really dark. I'm kind of surprised about that. So here's final one, no diffuser, and final two with diffuser. I don't see any difference between these two shots, actually. I mean, this one has less exposure value. This one has more exposure value. Of course, because this one's shot at f20 and this one's shot at f16. So here's what I think's going on. One, you've got to be shooting at a really high ISO because these pictures are very, very grainy, and your tungsten lights at a reasonable ISO for portraiture, like say 200 or lower, won't be giving you f-stops of like f16. You should be like in the f5, f4 range. So there's that. And then there's no difference between these two lighting scenarios at all. There's just a difference in exposure value. So if you want to redo this, that would be great, and I will totally take it for full credit because you got something in on time, and that's what well, on time-ish, and that's what counts. Okay, so it's a few hours late, but you're almost there. So if you want to resubmit over the weekend, I would love to look at it because there's not much I can say about this. The ISO is, I think you're maybe having a difficult time focusing on your equipment, and the ISO is way too high. The lighting is no different between the two finals, so you didn't meet the assignment objective. But it's fine to take your equipment shots with your camera phone. That's totally cool. I have no problem with that. And then also, the aesthetics of this are just really undealt with. If we go to the equipment shot, you're using a backdrop. However, go ahead and have your model sit several feet away from the backdrop at a much wider open aperture and a much lower ISO. This will give you a more narrow depth of field and will get the backdrop out of focus so that we're not going to be seeing this kind of stuff, like these folds and the pattern and stuff. It's very distracting. And also, the hard shadow of your model falling on the backdrop is also really distracting. So, you know, feel free to get back in here and redo this assignment. So, though your submission is entirely complete, you have exactly what I asked for. You have the two enlarged equipment shots, you've got the metering shots, and you've got your exposure settings for all of your contact sheets. You didn't actually meet the assignment requirements because in between your two finals, the lighting quality doesn't change at all. At all. Not even a little bit. It's just your exposure value that's changing. So, if you want to resubmit, please feel free to. You are welcome to do that. Okay? Thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to post them here or in Problems and Solutions or even email me. That would be fine. Okay, thanks, Ellen.